I have been really passionate about this field since I remember the World Trade Center collapsed in US. I think I was 5 years old or something, and I had my dad there in front of that building. Just 2 days prior, we realized such a magnificent building. It just took like 2 or 3 seconds to destroy it. At that point, I thought that when I grow up, I want to dedicate my life towards sustaining things. I didn't know what sustainability means, but I wanted to preserve things.
When I personally can see huge changes in this field, things are going very towards skilled people in Australia, and you are one of the examples. And the field is sustainable development. How is this particular field job market right now?
It's booming. As we know, global warming is increasing. There's winters that are peaking in temperatures, but they don't last as long. And then there's summers that are extended because of global warming. So these kind of impacts, they need to be controlled so that we can live how we are living today. A lot of people are trying to get jobs, but that doesn't mean that jobs are not available. They are. It is challenging to get into. It is challenging to upskill. There are specific skill sets that are required by certain jobs in this field. But apart from that, market is very cutthroat because there will be technicalities involved. So if you are a sustainability analyst, you'll be dealing with the data, climate projections, the nitty-gritties of the financial statements. You will have to be a quick learner, and then the market has a lot of young people, and young people are quick learners, and they keep on upskilling themselves. Talk about the PR. In short, it's good.
In short, it's good. It's actually good. Hello guys, welcome back to another podcast. This is KapsTalks, and we are back with way back in the time. We had done a podcast with Nivansa. Thank you so much for that podcast, because that podcast actually gave a different viewpoint of how different studies are evolving in Australia. How migration, you didn't give much about migration advice because you're not certified for it, makes sense. But you still gave some, hit and tries what you can do as a student in Australia. But this podcast is more like a second part of it. We are continuing the same kind of field and the questions, and the field is sustainable development, right? Let's go with more questions related to this. But recently, it's almost a year for the podcast, I believe.
I think so.
And
more than a year.
Yeah, and I personally can see huge changes in this field. Things are going very broadly towards skilled people in Australia, and you are one of the examples. So, but going forward, I want you to first, little bit give a brief info of you, and then little bit brief info we'll do about the study, so that the person who has not watched that podcast, they can have a brief overview what we're going to be talking about.
Sure. So I came here in Australia in 2022 to pursue my master's in environment and sustainability. I did it from Monash, finished it in 2023 December. And then ever since I was doing my master's, I've been looking out for roles that were sort of aligning with what I was studying, to understand corporate sustainability and things like decarbonization, greenhouse gas emissions, scope 1, 2, and 3 emissions. If people are aware of it, it's booming in the market at the moment. In my bachelor's, I have pursued civil engineering, and environmental engineering was one of the aspects of that civil engineering, that whole broad course.
Yeah.
And then I went to London to pursue an internship in that field. That was towards the built environment, where we had to convert a heritage building into a sustainable building. So we had to make the plan, which interested me towards sustainability. It is a broad topic to talk about. I can talk for hours and hours about this topic.
Obviously, you love this topic.
Yes, but all in all, it's mostly about sustaining what we already have, the resources, and everything that we have available, so that it's equally available for the future generations to come as well.
In simple lame language, when you say, so the study is Masters of
Environment and Sustainability.
Okay. So, and this is going up, market-wise, PR-wise,
Yes.
perspectives-wise. In simple lame language, if in a single statement, what was it for us?
Sustainability?
Yeah.
It is to preserve the natural resources that we have at the moment, so that they are equally available for the future generations as well. They're not depleted, and the resources that we're using are equally available for them to use as well.
So you work in the same field, right? You said. What's your role name?
I'm a senior associate in sustainability reporting advisory.
Okay. And what kind of job, like what's the basic job responsibilities of someone who's doing this kind of study
Hmm.
in the future?
So there are a lot of pathways that with this master's in sustainability and environment a person can go towards. For example, a person can look at, how the soil is functioning. So they can look at the soil contamination, they can look at waste, they can look at recycling, they can look at decarbonization. There are some other aspects as well, like net zero. So every company now, and in Australia as well, the government has produced the net zero targets, and every state has different targets that they need to go net zero by 2030, 2050, and the percentages are separate for different states. So they can also look for those. In order to do those, they'll be looking at tasks like, understanding the carbon emissions and then the strategies to reduce those carbon emissions in the
To net
future.
zero, you said.
Yes, the net
Like
zero.
zero level.
Yes, net zero. So net as in, the positive and negative are net.
Okay. Why I ask this? Because yeah, please. Yeah.
I will give you what I do as well.
Okay.
So my field, sustainability reporting advisory, is very niche in this field. So what we try to do is we try and understand the climate related risks and opportunities of the clientele around us, and we try to relate those risks and opportunities to how it is impacting their financials. So their financial statements, for example, financial. Let's talk about profits and losses. Let's talk about their cost of goods, their revenue. So how is that revenue, that those cost of goods, profits and losses are affected by the risks that are emerging from the climate?
Okay.
I will give you an example. Simple example. For example, if there is a bank, it's it has a property in, let's say, a flood prone area.
Okay.
Floods are increasing in the market, not in the market, in the world.
Yeah.
Yes, and if that property is in a flood zone area, the vulnerability of floods, the risk of floods for that
high.
particular property is really high. So throughout the time, with the projection of climate that we have available in the climate science, how is it going to impact the company's financials, whether it will incur any losses, whether it will be better in the future if floods are decreasing in the future in that particular area. So that's our role, to analyze how it is impacting, and later on how the financials are getting affected because of those risks, and what are the opportunities emerge from those risks. So it's very interesting, very interesting.
Obviously, I mean, it's for example, if you're one of the employees in my company and you're in this department, if you don't work properly and anything happens, then the whole companies can get sued, I believe, if it's related to natural disaster or anything.
I wouldn't say they will get sued, but it is
They're responsible.
It is their responsibility. And as we know, the global warming is increasing in the world, and we are seeing less,
Birds, less glaciers.
Exactly. And then there's winters that are peaking in temperatures,
Yes.
but they don't last as long as, how they used to last
to be, yeah.
previously. And then there's summers
Yeah.
that are extended because of global warming. So these kind of impacts need to be mitigated. They need to be controlled so that we can live how we are living today.
Yeah. In your job role, you have like so many screens and Excel sheets and all. You have like so many notes and stuff.
That's also a good question and another pathway. So if you are a sustainability analyst, you'll be dealing with the data.
Okay.
So data as in climate projections, looking at the nitty-gritties of the financial statements. For us, it is mostly as a reporting advisor.
Yeah.
For me, it is to understand the business. It is to understand their market, their related issues that are emerging from climate, and then advising them. So I don't look at a lot of data, but I look at their value chain, their business operations, their strategies.
Okay.
Yeah, and how they're governing those strategies, things like that.
Okay, so we understood. I knew it before because I made the podcast. Either if you have not watched it, please watch it. You will gonna be learning so much from that particular podcast. We have given you a brief intro. Now going back to the normal. So we have explained environment and sustainability. Let's go dive deeper. Why do you think this field is suddenly booming a lot? and is really important in Australia.
Mm.
Not just for domestic, but for domestic and international both student.
Um, I think we will have to go back to when it all started. So if people have heard of Paris Agreement, if you've not heard of it, go and have a read through it. Google it, and you'll get a lot of information. So there is this urge to reduce the global warming to a certain level, so that it doesn't impact our future generations to come and everything that we have available as resources. In order to do that, what the government is doing right now in Australia specifically is that they have something that's called as mandatory sustainability reporting. That's a requirement, and all of the companies, based on their size, the revenue that they generate, and the employees that they have certain thresholds. They've divided all of the companies, publicly listed companies, into 3 different thresholds: Group 1, Group 2, Group 3. So based on that, it's think about it as the impact that your operations are having in the environment. So the more impact your operations, because of your revenue, because of your operations, because of your employees, the more you are responsible to report it, in terms of how much greenhouse gases are emitted, how much, what kind of climate risks and opportunities are available. Like, are you vulnerable? Are your strategies actually working? Are your strategies actually overlooking to the future, and will you be able to sustain it? So these are the requirements that are for the primary users of those companies. Those primary users will be the investors. And every company, as we know, that they need investors to grow in the future. So that is where all of this is emerging from. And these requirements have been mandated from January 2025. So that's why we are seeing that boom in the market at the moment for these reporting requirements. In my perspective, I think it is a really good point for the companies to start thinking about these things, because if you talk about a business, the business always thinks about doing what they do. For example, if there is a meat manufacturing company, they care about putting the meat into the box and selling it off
and making profits.
Exactly. But what about the impact on the environment? Who will think of that? If the government won't mandate these things, the company won't think about it. So for me, it is a good starting point, which then beautifully segues to decarbonization and thinking about the net zeros that we talk about at the start. So then I think it is a start which will lead to a great transformation in the future.
To have a better future, yes.
Yes, to reduce the global warming.
For a new student who's watching this video, what kind of a person should seriously consider this course? Why I'm asking is because when I talk to you off camera, I mean, from the start, I knew that you have a really great passion to work related to the society, like helping people, helping the nature, helping, by the way, we have cute little dogs over here, helping animals, and that all comes in Mother Nature. So I have seen this kind of passion in you, which you converted into your profession. Great thing. But a person should just do it for the PR reasons, job reasons, profit, money reasons, because I believe that won't last long, right? One or the other day, they're going to just jump off. So what kind of person should he or she be?
See, talking about me, as you've mentioned, I have been really passionate about this field since the start.
Yeah.
Since I remember the World Trade Center collapsed in US. Since that time, I didn't know the word
Sustainability.
Yes, exactly. I didn't know the meaning of that word. I think I was 5 years old or something, and I had my dad there in front of that building just 2 days prior.
Oh, wow.
And then luckily he came back home. We were watching the TV together, and we realized that such a magnificent building, it just took like 2 or 3 seconds to destroy it. And then at that point, I thought that when I grow up, I want to dedicate my life towards sustaining things. I didn't know what sustainability means, what sustaining things means, but I wanted to preserve things. So that's where I come from. But I've seen people who come from different backgrounds. In my team as well, there are different people who come from, let's say, someone has worked in a zoo, someone has been a manager in a zoo, someone is an accountant, someone is really good with the financials, and they're looking for more deeper, meaningful career in their lives. So they they come into this field, and someone who has a good understanding of how these two interact together, sustainability and finance, it is good for those people as well. Someone who's really interested in things like GIS, biodiversity, modern slavery, equity, gender equity, um, and just simply preserving things. So it is open to all, and I've seen people from various backgrounds, like things that we won't even imagine. Someone from a cybersecurity is now thinking to go deeper into more tangible, meaningful changes. So
So it's just it should come from heart.
it should come from heart. It is also booming, so it's interesting for people. So if you want to switch in the career as well, you can think about this field. There's not much upskilling that you need to do.
I was
in
being
this.
honest. I was actually thinking off camera.
Mm.
I was actually thinking because I'm from designing field and I know designing is getting impacted by AI anyways. I was thinking to rather go in a field where I can actually, with my full power, help something or some like my mother nature, and would obviously have my family's have a proper job and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm being honest with you on camera that I wanted to, but let's see. It's easy to say, but you need knowledge, you need experience.
You need a mentor who can guide you
Oh, is
to
it?
make that transition from the field that you're in to where you want to go.
Will you be my mentor?
Be more than happy to. And
That's what I want.
coming back to your point,
Hmm.
I also have architects in my team who work in this.
What?
Yes, I have interior designers. I know interior designers who are doing sustainability now. And I would say that there is, because this is such a booming and newer, I wouldn't say it's very new. It is a newer topic. So
Compared to others, yes.
exactly. So there are a lot of opportunities out there to grab. And then someone who really understands the governance side of things, the strategies, someone who's like good in playing chess to analyze what will be the next steps. All of these things, all of these transferable skills or secondary skills you can bring to this field.
Table. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a vast field, and any kind of experience, I think any kind of skill set can be transferable, can be transferred to this field.
Okay. So you mentioned carbon accounting last time, if you remember.
Mm-hmm.
Can you explain why this carbon reporting or ESG are becoming a big career areas? But before that, let's explain what these are, like carbon accounting, carbon reporting, ESG. Explain these basic terms and then
carbon accounting is something very very general. So it's the greenhouse gas emissions.
Okay.
So you account for those emissions.
Okay.
How do you account for those emissions? You actually calculate how much emissions your operations are producing, which are scope 1, scope 2, scope 3. Scope 1 will be something that's directly produced by the company's operations. So for example, if you've got a factory, if you've got let's say a generator, and that generator uses diesel, so that diesel will come under your scope 1. Scope 2 is something that you buy from outside, energy that you buy from outside, for example, electricity. That's your scope 2. Scope 3 will be everything else apart from those two emissions, everything else related to your value chain, for example, your suppliers, your customers. So all of the greenhouse gases that entire value chain is emitting, that will be a scope 3. So we try and account for those things to figure out how much carbon is actually emitted from that industry, or rather an organization, and then comes that net zero and then decarbonization. How do you then decarbonize those things? Where can you save those greenhouse gases? So
Okay.
that's essentially what carbon accounting
And
is.
ESG?
ESG is environment, social governance. So it's a broader aspect of sustainability. So where there will be environment, there'll be social aspects of it, like modern slavery, biodiversity, things like that, and there'll be governance.
So what I understood from your points is you just need to be passionate and ready to study and work.
Ready
and
to learn.
Ready to learn, and then you have different roles and you can categorize and go into
Yes, there are
Depending on
Heaps
your-
of different roles.
Okay.
Like I have worked for an in-house. I have worked as an in-house environment and sustainability officer as well. I think the last time that
Yeah.
we,
In the meat company.
yeah, the last time we sat together,
Yes.
I was working for that company. But now I've switched to a consulting role where it is a mix of all of these.
All of it.
So I have,
That's why you know all of
yeah. So I have clients from construction sector. I have clients from food sector, FMCG. I have clients from very different telecom sector. Yeah, I have clients from what do you call it, the printing softwares.
Wow.
So it's really interesting. I mean, every client that you work with, you learn different things.
If I would be randomly coming to you and I need your guidance, and I was like, hey man, so I just want to shift my field. I don't want to be in a design anymore. What should be the step plan? What should I start working or looking up for the job in this sustainability environment field?
I think the first step would be for you to realize what kind of role are you actually interested in. So
How to
like,
categorize.
do
How would I
you,
know?
as I told you that, if you are interested in data, some people are really,
Has a strong.
data mongers. So they get empowered when they look at numbers and data, like financial statements. So you have to understand what interests you. Do you want to test the soil? Do you want to go for transition planning? So like, from the greenhouse gases accounting to how to reduce them. Do you want to do that transition, or do you want to help the companies in their reporting like I am doing right now? Do you want to understand their risks and opportunities, climate related risks and opportunities? um, and I think modern slavery, as we talked about, these are all big areas where people, like the companies, they're needing help right now. So first, as a step one, you should look at various pathways that are available, the various job titles and their requirements, and then figure out what interests you. And then based on that particular area or that particular job role or title, then you look at how you can upskill yourself. What are the requirements of that job title? What are the courses that you can take to upskill yourself in those areas? I think that's a good segue.
So yeah, because I was reading an article, and the article was saying now is the time if you just want to go in any field, do the reverse. Like look up for job roles, and from those job roles, look at the responsibilities. If those one or two job roles interest your personality, then you go backward. Start looking up how you can
How you can
land
make
up
yourself
going,
ready for it.
how you can land up going to jobs. So search courses which leads to that. Then for these courses, search courses and universities which gonna lead to that. So it's the reverse pathway, because
Yeah, it's for
since
the
ages we
top
have been
down.
like, yeah, since ages it was like, I would say bottom to top. I mean, yeah, you can say anyways, but it's a
Bottom
whole
to top is something that I did. I was interested in something,
yeah,
then I made my way up,
up.
and I studied, and then I tried to
Yeah.
find a job.
Yeah. And but nowadays, if you're thinking, I always say in my other videos as well, if you're thinking to come to Australia or maybe in any other country, start looking up for the job roles and the job market first, then start thinking reverse. But makes
Yeah.
sense.
I think it's smart.
It is. What skills should a student be having during the degree to actually get hired, or after the degree to actually get hired in this field? What would you, because if you go back in time and when you were looking for your first job in this environment and sustainability field.
I think one of the most important skills, and this is not something very specific to the job itself, it is that you are able to translate the terminologies that are available out there to in layman terms.
How?
And try to explain those. So like similar to how I explained sustainability.
Yeah.
Sustainability is a very specific word. But then if you try and explain it to a 5-year-old, you will say that, okay, we have this much amount of water. How do you save this much amount of water while still continuing your operations? Like you need to bathe, you need to do your chores, you need to cook, you need to drink water. But how can you make those things in a way that you preserve water while doing it, so that it is available to when your kids are born? So that thinking to simplify things, I think that is a very important skill set. not just for this role, but for any other role if you are coming from a university, coming out of a university, looking for a new role. And I think the next skill is your communication. You should be confident. You should be able to explain what you are thinking. That is important. Your communication, written and verbal both, that will contribute a lot. And the third skill is you need to know how to network with people. So
Okay.
yeah, so even in universities, like the faculties that I had, the facilitators that I had, they had such a vast network in themselves. So just trying to talk to them and trying to understand how they built those networks, where like what are the good platforms for you to attend. For example, there was a sustainability live conference, business live conference, right, just I think 2 months ago, and I couldn't attend because I was busy. But then I have heard that a lot of people from this sustainability environment from all over Australia attended this conference, which is a really good opportunity for a person who's going to enter into the field to just go and first-handedly talk to the person and try to understand their pain points, and then say that, oh, I've studied about this. Maybe this is what interests me, and then you go back and reflect on it.
Okay.
So I'll say that those three things are the top skill sets.
And so these are the soft skills. Any technical skills that you would recommend?
See, technical skills will
Basic computer language. Basic computer knowledge. Yes.
Yes, and then technical skills also come from what you have actually studied in the university. So if you are already studying, you will already have those things. So like I did leadership in sustainability because I wanted to be a leader who wants to bring behavioral changes. And then I did corporate sustainability as well to understand, what is going out there, like the reporting regimes and related things. So those are the technical skills that you can go for. And as I mentioned, decarbonization is a big one. Recycling, circular economy is a big topic. Biodiversity is a big topic. So those things you already map out when you are mapping out your courses in the university.
Makes sense. But in the end, not in the end always, but most of the times the problem comes out too, because we have certain hours of, especially if you're personalized international student, we have certain hours of studying, we have certain hours of doing part-time jobs. So we as students are not able to make great time, especially to network, talk to people and all.
Yeah.
But if you can balance out, it's gonna be giving us good results in the end.
I would say that if possible, like try and look for jobs where you can actually practice what you are studying. So
even if they're part-time jobs, then still.
Yeah. Even if they're part-time jobs, even if they're casual jobs, and just try to get something where you can practice what you are.
Which can actually parallelly go to your end goal.
Yeah.
You're learning on the way, so that you can finally reach end last.
I know a couple of people who, while studying the course, they were also working part-time for some companies, like in the sustainability sector.
Okay. How was it for you to get your first job?
It was hard. It is always hard to get the first job.
Yes, it is.
It was, I would say, yes, it was hard, but if you have the will, then you will land your first job. It takes time. It takes time to make your presence. But as I said, if you have good network of people, then it becomes a little easier. I didn't understand this when I was studying back then because I was also working full time. I did not have any restrictions. So I didn't really attend any of these networking events and, these conferences.
Yeah.
But if you are able to network, getting your first job, that becomes easier. But nevertheless, it's just about persistence. And I think I
Always.
vividly remember that I've mentioned this in the last interview as well. But keep yourself persistent, keep on applying, keep on upskilling yourself, and just try and revise your resume if you learn something new. Just try and see if this is fitting the new market or not. So I think it is time taking, but it's not impossible.
Oh, obviously. I mean, how's any field you go in? When you just go into a random new country, it's going to take some time.
Yes.
And while adding to your point, I want to say that try to, if you're watching this, try to save up some money as well on the
Mhm.
side, because when you're looking up for a job, you need some basic living expenses in your
Yes.
pocket,
Yes, of course.
right?
Of course.
Is this course better for people with background like engineering, science, business, or anyone can do this field, which you have already
Yeah.
answered? But how is this, like, from your experience, how is this particular field job market right now?
It's booming.
High demand, less supply, or equal supply?
No, it's actually a lot of people are trying to get jobs,
Oh,
but that doesn't mean that jobs are not available. They are. So I think this is a very debatable topic, that the amount of jobs out there.
it would be better if you just search it up online, right?
Yeah.
Rather than giving any numbers. What do you think?
Yes, but also, like as I mentioned, there are specific skill sets that are required by certain jobs in this field.
Yeah.
But apart from that, there are also jobs where people are looking for, heads in this field. And if you would, like, the study of this field is as I said, newer. So those heads will not have those that masters or that PhD in sustainability, but since they have the strategic experience to build those transition plans and to lead teams, to govern teams, they actually upskill a little bit and then they move to the top. They become the heads of the sustainability ESG reporting teams and related um, related teams.
Yeah, makes sense. Any mistakes that students should avoid only because looking, hey, this field is booming, let's choose it. They might be able to make some mistakes while choosing this course. Should they actually choose it, not choose it?
See, I would say that this market is very cutthroat. Cutthroat in the sense it is challenging. It is challenging to get into. It is challenging to upskill because there will be technicalities involved. You will have to understand, how to calculate greenhouse gas emissions. You will have to understand how you actually go about recycling, go about decarbonization. So there is a lot of uh, upskilling requirement that you will have to do.
So you need to be a quick learner as well.
You will have to be a quick learner, and then the market has a lot of young people.
Okay.
And young people are quick learners.
Yes.
And they keep on upskilling themselves.
Yes.
So you will have to keep up with the pace. And also keeping up with the pace comes from all of the changes that are coming into the market right now.
Yeah.
Heaps of changes. Like every week there is some new regulation or some new education material coming out there. And you have to keep yourself updated with those things in order to move. Otherwise it will be like, there was a rule a year ago. If you have that same mindset that you need to apply that rule, that's an outdated rule. So your work is useless.
So you just don't choose it for the sake of choosing it.
Yes.
Choose it when you actually.
It's not easy. It's not easy.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Would you still choose if you again start?
Oh, over and over again. Yes.
Okay. I mean, you have answered most of the points, but I don't want to much go into the PR perspective of this question. Sorry, of this course, because the problem is when we will jump into PR perspectives, the highlighting of this study, one or the other way, will blend out. If you need a particular video on this PR perspective, let us know. Part 3. By the way, this is the first podcast I'm actually doing part 2 of.
Nice.
So thanks to you, because
Nice.
people
More than
literally
happy
asked
to be.
me to start making part 2 of the video which they wanted. But anyway, rapid fire round.
Sure.
Okay.
What do you need in the rapid fire? Do I just choose?
Just choose.
Or
Or
just
I'll say, don't worry.
Okay.
Trust me. If you have seen other podcasts, I always do rapid fire rounds. So ESG or carbon accounting?
Carbon accounting.
Consulting or government role?
That is a tough question. Government role.
Passion or job demand?
Passion for me.
I knew it already. Hardest part of this field,
Keeping yourself up to date.
which you just mentioned.
Yes.
It takes effort. Best skill to build right now, if someone's just about to enter or is already in here.
Carbon accounting.
Learn how to do carbon
Yes.
accounting. Then can someone learn it from online, like
Yeah,
online materials?
I mean,
YouTube and all?
The more you practice, the better you become. But
Mhm.
yes, you can learn the steps,
Mhm.
and then again, you won't understand how it actually applies until you actually apply it.
And how would you learn it? Just go into the
Yes,
Okay.
or just talking to someone who's done it.
have a mentor.
Yes.
I have already. Is this field underrated? I mean, I won't say now.
Not
It was at
anymore.
the time.
Yes, I think every field when it comes into play
New picture, yeah.
at the starters, it is underrated.
Like, look at cybersecurity. It used to be someone said, why people are doing it now?
Yeah.
People are dying to do it. But yeah, not like actually dying, and just it's a phrase. Worth it for future students or no?
100%.
I would say worth it for prospective students if you actually want to do it, not just for the sake of doing it.
It is very interesting. So I think if you go into understanding what it actually is, everyone will be interested in it.
Yeah.
Even I was talking to my dad one day, and he was like, "Oh, that's an interesting field." Even a couple of my brothers have been really interested. Like if on camera, off camera, Manish bhaiya.
I know.
He was like, "Oh, that's such an interesting field. I didn't know."
No, not me. When I was driving to your house, I was actually thinking I should jump into this field. Like not just jump with passion. But let's see how things go. You never know.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for
Worries.
coming and again giving us so much information. I hope you understood the job perspectives of this field, because last time we covered the study perspectives more, if you remember. So if you need part 3, let us know.
We'll talk about the PR.
Yeah.
In short, it's good.
In short, it's good. It's actually good. If you want part 3, because I won't do everything in the same video, otherwise they're not gonna watch, right?
He's a smart guy.
I know.
He knows how to make money.
No, it's not much money, but anyway. This Caps Log Mimamsa, thank you, signing off.